spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people, meaning that I wish for you all that you wish for yourselves. My motto is that thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I was at a birthday party last night. My father-in-law was celebrating his 80th birthday, and all of the kids and grandkids and great-grandkids were, or as many as were here in the state of Minnesota, assembled themselves. And while we were taking photos, group photos and individual photos, one of the nieces said that, oh, if Uncle Porter's in, he's preaching. You know, I never really set out to preach, or the things that I say to you, I hope don't seem to be preaching. But I have to, you know, be responding to the call that I've been given. And one of them is to seek the presidency of the United States as a write-in. And I say this as a write-in because I'm not the kind of candidate that usually runs. I'm not as a Republican, I'm not running as a Democrat, or any of those political parties. I don't represent a political party. I represent an ideal. And as such, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find anyone that would put any money behind this and back it. I remember a few years ago, I was running for president, and I believe there was a newspaper in Nebraska someplace talking about my candidacy, and the editor or the reporter deduced the reality of my failure to be able to get going in the reality that people don't care about themselves as much as I care about them. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, and you know how complicated this thing is, but let me put it to you in a nutshell. This is what I want for the American people. I want every American citizen to have all of the education they need to be good at whatever it is that they've been given to do or choose to do. I want every American citizen to have health care from the womb to the tomb. I want every American citizen to have a career of choice, because in having a career of choice, the people of this country, will be able to produce all of the goods and services that we, the people, have determined are essential for our well-being. Housing, transportation, leisure, everything that you love now. The things that you want in your house, the kinds of schools you want, the kind of cities you want, the kind of infrastructure you want. All of the goods, farming, manufacturing, the best. Now, that's what I want. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, I want that at all costs. I don't care if we can get it under democracy and capitalism. If we can't, I wouldn't care if we could get it under communism and socialism. And if it didn't work, I don't care if we got it under a dictatorship. Whatever it takes to help the people of this country to realize their dreams, that's what I want, and I want it at all costs. That's bottom line. Bottom line. Now, who wants to put money behind that? You think people who got PAC money wants to support this? No, they put it behind Republicans. And the Republicans don't want what I have just shared with you for you. Republicans don't even work for you. They work for special interests. You think the Democrats would put PAC money behind this? No. They don't work for you. They work for the same special interests. You think that just the public who got $5, $2 or $3 would put that behind this campaign? Well, they haven't. One reason is because they haven't heard of this campaign. Another reason is because maybe they don't even believe in it. But I don't care if you believe in it or not. I am one man who wants that for you. And the reason that I want that is because I am convinced that the God that I serve, I don't know what God you serve that says it's okay for you to keep on doing what you do, but the God that I serve wants this for you. The God that I serve wants this for me, and he wants it for you. Now, if you choose to go another way, like with Barack Obama, I know he's the first black president, and black people are excited about that. But you still don't have a job. You're still struggling to make your house notes. You're doing the same things under Barack Obama that you were doing under George Bush, a Republican. And how dare anybody who lived in America over the past 12 years, even through this day, who have endured what they have gone through, would be sitting up contemplating a return of one of these parties. Ladies and gentlemen, look, when I think about entertainers, when I think about people who are pulling off their clothes, they look good, at least in my mind, so I guess they look good in other people's mind, men and women. Pulling off their clothes, stripping, naked, showing all their goods so they can make some money. When the man, the power that I represent, says you can get that money, you can get the goods that come from that money, you don't have to strip. When I think about brothers out there who wear their pants down, who curse and doing all kind of profanity, abusing and exploiting all kind of women to glorify a form of life that is crazy, so they can get that paper, so they can buy those goods that that paper can buy. And here I come to you and tell you about a power that you can get all of that stuff and more besides, and you don't have to sell your soul to do it. I was at a church today, and I believe that I listened to the preachers bring an excellent message. They all talked about saving souls. They talked about quitting smoking, the drinking, and the partying, and the going out, and the chasing women, and the chasing men. They talked about all that. They talked about being peaceful and kind and loving. They talked about all that. But when you go to these churches, many of them got a few members in it. Some of them got mega churches, they got thousands of members. And yet still, ladies and gentlemen, you don't see them standing up for a different way of doing things. You see, what I am basically representing is this: a different system, a different way of achieving life, a different outcome. I don't want people to steal. I know that most people who steal because they've been robbed and don't have much of anything. See, a lot of folks think if you say don't steal, they're talking about you and I. But business can steal from you. Billionaires, where do you think they got that money from? They exploited the people. That's stealing. But we honor them. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, why honor people who have robbed you? Why honor the king and the prince and the queen? They're individuals just like you. And the power that I serve has no more concern for them than they have for you. So I'm thinking, if you are a king, if you of your household, if you are a queen of your household, if you are a prince or a princess, why are you idolizing some others who don't even care about you and know that you exist? Anyway, I was listening to these preachers preach, and they were talking about the soul saving. I tell people that my mission is not to save souls. I'm glad that people have the mission of saving souls, but mine is not. Mine is to focus on life. That doesn't take away from the soul. Because every coin, as I indicated today, has two sides. On one side, there's a soul-saving process. On the other side, there's a life-saving process. Sure, God might have given you a soul and won it back, however the preachers and pastors describe it. But God also breathed into you a breath of life and put you in these bodies on this earth at this time and made it possible so that everything that exists, cars, trucks, buses, carpets, chairs, knives, forks, ceilings, stoplights, airplanes, all of those things, telephones, came from the mind of God to be used by you and I, but not to be exploited. God is the source of all things, and if we respect God and respect one another, and we want to be respected, we would not let some aggressor come in and deceive us. So my mission is trying to wake you up to really what's going on. There was a brother at the church today who, he said that another brother brought it to him about the USA. Because you know how we think about the USA, all the USA, the USA, God bless the USA. He said, but what's really going on is that USA stands for under Satan's authority. Under Satan's authority. And what does it mean when you say under Satan's authority? You're talking about wars that are going on. Who brings it on? Not God. That's Satan. Satan that's permeated the minds and the hearts of individuals that will not allow them to be compassionate. Want to steal, take. That's what most wars are fought about. Taking something, trying to impose something on somebody else. Take, not loving them, but trying to control them. That's God's role. And as I mentioned a moment ago, taking off your clothes, pimping people, hustling people, all of that comes from Satan. And look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Look how Satan works. You work your life, those of you who are lucky and blessed enough to have a job. You work hard. Teachers, construction workers, everybody that got a job work hard. I can't distinguish in between any of you. All of you work hard. And you struggle to pay your bills. You try to have a little extra on the side so you can do some leisure. And then the system goes out there and grab a few individuals out and have them playing games. Football, basketball, baseball, skating, and pay these people hundreds of millions of dollars for playing. And they don't take any role in life except playing. They hide a little bit of their tax money by trying to say they got a charity. That's nothing but Satan. Now, I'm not calling these guys who play football and sports Satan. I am saying that they are operating within a system that's under the authority of Satan. And so are you. You teachers, you government workers, all of us who work in the system work under the authority of Satan. And why do I say that? I don't care what you have been told. If we live under a system that denies some education, doesn't matter how many, if it denies one education that wants it. If we live under a system that denies one unlimited, unrestricted health care, if we live under a system that denies one a career, we are living under the authority of Satan. Why? Because that is not God's plan. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. God's plan is for you and 300 million Americans and billions of people all across this globe to enjoy life while in these bodies, on this earth, at this time, as though they are living in heaven. Now, why is it, ladies and gentlemen, that you would choose to go another way? You choose because you've been deceived. Adam was deceived, Eve was deceived, and all of the people on earth are deceived. The billionaires are deceived. But you who are poor are no more innocent because you are deceived as well. I want to tell you a secret. No one is supposed to impose themselves to the degree that it causes any pain and suffering upon anyone. And at the same time, no one is supposed to accept that imposition from anyone. To accept it means you have accepted those people who are imposing themselves on you, their will on you, as your God. Which means you don't know the real God, because if you knew the real God, you would not allow that to happen. Now in America, here I have. I've been raising sand, trying to get a message out to you for years. I've gone to jail and prison, and I have no regrets. But I've also come into a stronger awareness over the last few years that tells me that the rules and regulations that have been set up under the authority of Satan are not for me to follow and for no child of God to follow. So when you see these mega churches and these preachers out here megaing and praising America and your job, they are doing that for Satan. Now, I'm not saying that they're doing it intentionally for Satan. No, they're not. They are deceived as well. And those mega congregations are deceived. Am I deceived? If I'm deceived, I love it. Because to me, I've heard somebody say that there's no greater love than a man would lay down his life, man or woman, for others. To me, I can concur with that. But that means also that all human beings are entitled to a portion, as much as they want, of all that God has given us. Now, what do any of you have to fear from me? The only ones that have to fear anything from me are those who would exploit others. Because I don't play that crap. I ask you to make me the next president of the United States of America. I hate that I have to do it as a write-in, but I can't do it any other way at this time. Somebody might say, why don't God put me in office? Let me tell you, God does not impose anything on you. God has presented me to make a presentation to you about God's way and how it would benefit you. So you have a choice. You can choose life. And I'm talking about the good life that you sell your souls for. The good life of having the goods and services that you see movie stars, athletes, and executives at the CEO level have. Those kinds of benefits. They don't have what I'm speaking to you about because they lack the joy. They have to abuse you to get it. I'm telling you how you can get it without abusing. I'm telling you how you can get it by loving. But as a consequence of that, I have to ask you, when you go to the polls to vote, my name won't be on the ballot. You have to remember my name. You have to write in Eddie Marcus on that ballot. Not only do you have to do that, you have to take this message that I'm giving to you and spread it to all of the people that you love, the people that you care about, your children, your grandchildren, your mother, your father, your neighbor's children, your neighbor's relatives, all across this state, all across this nation, so that the people across this nation know that God loves them. You know, in these small churches, I have learned why people don't like to go to church. People don't like to go to church because they do not think that the church teaches love. They think that the church teaches hate because all it does is talk about stop doing this, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop. And it never starts talking about start doing this, start doing this. And when they talk about start doing this, they talk about coming to the church, singing in the choir, teaching Sunday school, and getting your butt right back under the authority of Satan after you walk out of that door. People are fed up with that. People are looking for a God that will free them. They are looking for a God that will liberate them from the trampling of feet upon the minds and hearts and souls and necks of people. I say to the churches, you look around you and you start thinking about what you care for yourselves. And start thinking about what you care as far as other people, even your enemies. And start by the power of the God that you say you love, by the power of God, of that God that empowers you. And start looking out for people who don't know God. Start telling the government to get your foot off these people's neck. Make sure that these people have education. Don't be taking this money and building stadiums and stuff. We can have fun. But make sure that your kids are educated and that they can do it liberally. Make sure that they have health care and that they have it liberally. Make sure that the opportunities for them to have the careers of their choice. Make sure that all people can do that. And when you find a politician start talking about we're going to have to cut education, you make sure you cut him out of the process. When you find a politician start talking about, well, we can't have health care for everybody, cut him out the process. And I guarantee you, on Sunday mornings, your churches will be overflowing. Because the people will understand that there must be a God because somebody is standing up for them. Well, this message, I would title it, Under Satan's Authority, so that you can understand that every day, whatever job you have, if it's a government job, if it's teaching school, if it's being a doctor, if it's preaching, all of it is under the authority of Satan for the simple reason that it's not working to eliminate the suffering. It is not working to embrace and highlight the Creator's will. And if it's not doing that, it is under the authority of Satan. Now, does that mean that there are people in this country that does not love? No, it doesn't mean that at all. There are people all over this nation that love, but they love according to their understanding of love. Their love says it's okay for some people not to have a job, for people to be poor. Or they'll say the word says we'll always have the poor with us. They don't understand love. But there's one that they heard about who really exemplified love, and that was Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ resisted the rules and regulations of the system. We think that come out from amongst them means to set ourselves over there. When you set yourselves over there, you can't do anything. Why? Because all of the goods and services, they captured them. And now you over there living like a harlot. No, I don't want to say harlot. Living as poor as you can be. God didn't put you in this world to live poor. He did put you in this world to live as though you are in heaven. So don't let the snake steal everything in the garden. What you do, you run the snake out the garden. Run the snake out the garden. Maybe I should call this message, Run the Snake Out the Garden. I don't know. But I want you to know that this is all about you. This is about the God that I serve. And the God that I serve says it is all about you. Men, women, children, old folk, black, white, straight, gay, American, and everybody else. So I don't have no shame in my game, and I have done so many things. And let me just say this before in my closing. All of America, for those of you who hear this and for those of you who don't, it goes out to you just as well. I got a big mouth, and I have been an evil person. I used to say in my recordings that if the devil ever wanted a representative, it was me. I served the devil well. If I look back at it, one of the things that I was never able to do for Satan was to kill. I've done everything else probably that anybody else has done, but I have never able to kill. But one time I was in the mindset to kill. I was out and I was willing to do anything to kill just to have my way. But it was blocked. And I couldn't kill the person that I was going to kill if I had to. But I came back and I say to you, I know the devil. I was one of the devil's greatest servants. So I'm not condemning you in that matter. What I'm condemning people for is not waking up. You see, I woke up, and I can come and tell you that you're serving Satan, even when you think that you're loving. Your loving is a deception. You're not. Mothers, if you can't stand up to make sure that your children have education unlimited and unrestricted, mothers and fathers, if you can't stand up to make sure that they have unlimited, unrestricted health care, if you can't stand up to guarantee that they will have the liberty to be as God has intended them to be, if you can't do that, you are under Satan's authority. And I'm asking you to break it. Get that snake out the garden. And if you make me the next president of the United States, I know the snake and all of Satan's devils will be doing everything they possibly can to kill me. If you just listen, they'll be doing everything they possibly can to kill me. Like they killed Jesus, like they killed Malcolm X, like they killed Gandhi, like they killed Martin Luther King and so many others. They'll be doing everything they can to do to kill me. I don't care. I don't care. Why? Because you are what's important. You are what's important. And if you wake up, I guarantee you that snake will wake up too. Bye-bye.